Good morning, everyone. Before Diwali, I wanted to share something important, uh, which is, you know, uh, probably key to understanding how stress impact our various physiological processes, right? I'm going to talk about adrenal fatigue today and the entire mechanism, how adrenal fatigue can lead to autoimmune issues, can lead to food cravings, weight gain, low sex drive, hair loss, weakened urination, and a lot of metabolic health issues, right? Essentially, we all know there are three types of stress. One is the physical stress, the oxidative stress, which we generally encounter when we too much of exercise or we do too much of, physical activity endurance, right? Second is the mental stress, relationship stress, the stress related to our work, financial stress, right? And third is the biochemical stress. Again, biochemical stress is connected with the functions of your microbiome, especially gut microbiome. So let us start with the physical and the emotional stress, right? So when we have these stresses, probably it is like indicates a threat to our brain and hypothalamus and pituitary glands, right? Start releasing certain hormones, right? Which actually, which is a response to a threat, and this also includes increased flow of blood to heart, brain, and muscles, right? And further, as a part of this process, adrenal glands releases cortisol, right? And again, and these hormones released by hypothalamus and pituitary glands are just a fight and flight response, right? So adrenal glands do release cortisol and even adrenaline, right? Triggers adrenaline rush, right? To some extent, adrenaline rush is great for emergencies, but when the cortisol is actually released, right? Um, it it gives a message to our body that there's something, the body is getting attacked, something wrong is going on. So all the non-essential functions are shut down, such as digestive system, immune system, right? And mostly the breathing and the blood circulation takes place, right? And this triggers gut dysbiosis because your immune system is shut, your digestive system is shut. And when there's a gut dysbiosis, there are certain secretion of certain pro-inflammatory metabolites because it changes the the functionality of the microbiome. Certain, you know, commensal become pathogenic, or pathogenic microbes start releasing virulence genes, which triggers pro-inflammatory production of pro-inflammatory metabolites, and they further activates this uh, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal gland, HPA axis, right? And again, there's a cycle of cortisol release when this is happening over a period of time. So to some extent, cortisol is required, right? In case of acute stress, right? And sometimes it is beneficial, right? But when it is every time we have stress because of number of reasons, it triggers gut dysbiosis. It leads to overproduction of cortisol, right? Which is again a precursor of type 2 diabetes as well. We have discussed this, how stress leads to storage of fat and storage of energy sources, right? So over a period of time, if we are having this stress, chronic stress 24/7, 365 days a year, right? Or every now and then, so probably adrenal glands keeps on working on releasing cortisol, and it slowly over a period of time it start becoming inefficient and exhaust, and there's a lot of exhaustion. The production of cortisol starts to go down, right? And again, it has an implication on number of physiological processes. So you will start having these adrenal fatigue. You will, when you get up in the morning, you will feel like sleeping again. You will have fatigue whole day. You will have weakened immune system because of this cortisol release. There's a weakened immune system. The immune system gets shut down, and then this increases the risk of various infections, because it reduces the immune system surveillance, right? And it also increases the risk of autoimmune disease. You loses concentration, you have brain fog, you gain weight, right? You lose hair, there's a decreased sex drive, right? And because it do impact the digestive system, it also increases the risk of irritable bowel syndrome, right? Irritable bowel syndrome. So essentially, in if it's physical or a mental stress, it do impact your physiology and your microbiome. And if your microbiome is imbalanced, it do triggers stress to overactivation HPA axis, right? And then this is a vicious cycle of stress, gut dysbiosis, stress, adrenal fatigue, and then number of systemic health issues, right? So one way to look at it is from a gut microbiome perspective is probably uh, understanding the functions of your microbiome, your unique biology, understanding the changes in the biology which is happening, and determining what specific, you know, food substrates and molecule you should feed your microbiome so that they promote production of anti-inflammatory molecules and do not and it suppresses the production of pro-inflammatory stuff, right? And the lesser the chronic inflammation, systemic inflammation, the better it is, right? So stress is linked to virtually every single chronic disease, whether it is metabolic disease, whether it's digestive issues, autoimmune issues, right? And that's something really, really important. So whenever you have this threat which is coming, acute stress is just to sum up, acute stress is required because assume you are being, you know, chastened by a wolf, right? So essentially you don't need to worry about your digestive system or your immune system. You just need to save yourself, and that's why, this activation of fight and flight response and the cortisol is really helpful in tackling that threat, right? But when we are stressed every time, there's a lot of cortisol production. It leads to metabolic health issues over a period of time. Adrenal gland loses its efficiency. There's low efficiency of adrenal gland to actually produce cortisol, and the production of cortisol goes low. So again, this leads to adrenal fatigue. So again, like other hormones, cortisol production has to be the right optimum. Cortisol production is average medium. It should not be too high and it should not be too low, right? Uh, so that's what I wanted to discuss. So we at Gene Fertility actually tell you a stress response. We cover various factors when we tell you we cover your mood swings, we cover your interaction between your gut and brain or gut brain axis. We also tell you your cortisol production, your GABA production, so a lot of these factors which tell you stress response, and then on that is we recommend you nutrition interventions which can actually, modulate your stress levels, right? So that's it for today. Have a great day. Thank you very much.